Welcome to KCE Racing Tuesday night Gen 4 series. We are at California tonight. You got Coco and Matt in the booth. Matt, how's it going?
Very good. How are you tonight, Coco?
Doing well. Looks like we're jumping right in here in the qualifying. So it looks like we'll go over our qualifying with you guys.
Yeah, these guys are going to run out single car 2-lap qualifying tonight here at Auto Club Speedway out in California. Try to jump on board. Nick Murphy headed out for his warm-up lap.
Yeah, Nick driving that 64 Scots Ford.
Coming out of 2, he'll hit the cone, take it up on track, build up speed in that car. Let's see if these guys run the high side in their warm-ups, try to build that momentum up.
You'd figure first lap, go on the high side, get them RPMs going, get the tires warmed up the longest way around the track, right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. On this warm-up lap, we should see him dive down into the bottom turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Here he goes, green flag for Nick Murphy's qualifying effort.
Well, we'd like to give you all the qualifying efforts. We're unable to do so on this platform, but we'll keep you abreast on everything that happens on track.
Yeah, we'll pay attention to these times as guys are going around and posting. We can, wonder if we can throw up our track map. Wonder if that would show where guys are at out on track, Coco.
Let's see that.
Nick coming out of 4. Looking for that first time. Phil Starnowski looked like he was out first. Murphy goes P2 behind him so far. Shane Bowie out. Looks like coming around to complete his first lap. That 55 Budweiser Chevrolet.
Looks like these guys are all tight in the 40s, Matt.
Yeah, Phil Starnowski currently your points leader. We just saw Bowie go up to P7 on that run. Let's jump over, check out Chris Moulton going around to complete his second lap. Moulton up to P7 on his lap.
Here's Buzz
Sam
Mongol
Drought
coming out. Yeah, is it Buzz Mongol coming out right now on camera there, Matt?
Yeah, Buzz in the number 12 Pink Whitney Vodka Chevrolet. I was looking over at my board. Sorry, Sam Drought currently the leader. Looks like the first car to break down into the 39-second bracket.
Looks like Buzz grabbed a little bit of the wall on that warm-up lap.
Tim Kennedy just jumped up to the pole with a time of 39.894. Buzz out on his first lap. We'll stay on board with him, see what position that 12 car posts. Just saw the 15 Spencer Britton jump up to P3. Number 12, Buzz Mongold, goes to well, I don't see a time. That contact with the wall might have negated that time, Coco.
There were 3 contacts with the wall on that one on the first lap, which would have definitely negated that time.
Yeah, I just saw Brian Glass move on the leaderboard. Glass in that 84 moves up to P9. P9 for Buzz.
So,
well, Coco, I think that's going to wrap up qualifying here tonight. We'll take you guys through that starting grid as the guys line up. I believe they're going to jump over and do their driver's meeting. And after that, they will line up for last practice of about 10 minutes of final practice to go through.
Right now, it does look like we have a bit of a break coming up. So we will join you guys back here in a little bit once we have these guys are ready to grid. See you soon. All right, guys, welcome back to KCE Racing. Matt, how's it going after that practice?
Very good. Looking forward to getting tonight's race started here at KC at Auto Club Speedway. These guys are working on the final few minutes of final practice here tonight before they line up for the grid to take the green flag. Yeah, we ought to see these guys getting door to door often tonight. 20 cars out on the field tonight, so it's going to be a good tight race between a lot of guys out there on track. Coco, let's look through the field and make some picks, man. Who you thinking is going to take that checkered flag tonight?
Tonight, I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna go with Gary Kipp for tonight. I think with his off week last week, I think he's gonna come out fighting.
I think that's a good pick. I like the 30, Phil Sarnowski, as my pick tonight on that Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
Yeah, Phil's always up there in the front at the end of the race, so I wouldn't expect any less.
Let's see if we can get. I'm just looking through my board here. Let's get Ed in that 79 Coco. Let's see if we can get him up here in the booth.
Hey, yeah, gotcha.
Edwin, we're on board with you right now on track. Tell us about the car, what you're feeling tonight, and how you like your chances, man.
Hey, yeah, the track is definitely getting warmer now. It's pretty tight trying to get into 4. So, yeah, with an EOL, man, I want to be on the lead lap. I want to get back on the lead lap, and the pit party showed maybe a little caution might come early, so maybe I'll get that.
Yes, sir. I heard the NASCAR police got you for maybe a penalty last week. But the good news is here at Auto Club, you should have plenty of time to get that car woed up down pit road, serve that penalty, and get back out still on the lead lap.
Yeah, 10-4. I'm looking forward to that happening, Matt. Yep.
Well, car looks all right for you out there tonight. Looks like we've got you. We'll go through the grid here in just a few minutes. But what do you think of your chances tonight? You going to move up the field?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping so. Again, my goal tonight is to end up on the lead lap, and then if I could be, P10. I think the track will come to me. Yep, I want to move up.
Well, Edwin, good luck to you and that Jack Daniels Ford 79. Have a great race, buddy.
Oh, thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, Edwin, have a good race and good luck out there, brother. Keep it one piece.
Got it, Coco.
That was Ed Post in the 79 Jack Daniels Ford Taurus out there in the Gen 4 here at Auto Club. Coco, we've got about a minute left in final practice. These guys will be gridding up, ready to go green.
Yeah, I'm real excited about this race. These cars look fast out there. I've seen a lot of side-by-sides going that seem like everybody has room to race on this track.
Yeah, plenty of room to move around. Definitely multiple lines at this track tonight. Guys are going to have options about where they want to run, where they want that car. If the error and the car in front of them is hurting maybe their entry or exit, getting that car upset, they can move around that track searching for some clean air.
Yeah, I'm showing these guys are gridding right now, Matt.
Yeah, looks like these guys are gridding up, getting ready to go.
All right, guys, so we're going to start this off. Right now, we have Tim Kennedy as your pole sitter right now. Tim's followed up by number 2, or position 2, Sam Trout. Position 3, Spencer Britton. Position 4, Tony Matthews. Position 5, Phil Sarnowski. Position 6, Gary Kipfer. Position 7, Nick Murphy. Position 8, Joseph Brockway. Position 9, Buzz Mongold. And rounding out your top 10 is Brian Glass in the 84 Chevrolet. Matt, you got the rest.
Yeah, P11, Sean Kaiser. Starting 12th is going to be Chris Moulton. P13, Mitch Mitchell, and his outside, Jim Felix, number 4. Edwin Post in position 15 tonight. Shane Bowie to his outside in P16. Daniel Bonner in P17. P18 is going to be Shane Fletcher. P19. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to get my list scrolled down. I believe it's going to be Tony Matthews, and Todd McDuffie will round out into P20.
It looks like we're getting ready to take that green flag, Matt.
Yeah, Tim Kennedy, your pole sitter out front. 73, Sam Drought starting his outside. That pace car is going to make that left-hand turn down on pit road here coming out of 4, and these guys will be green flag racing for 80 laps tonight here at KCE California Speedway. Yeah, I think I heard one of the guys mention in practice fuel run of possibly around 25, 26 laps.
Green flag, green flag.
Green is out. Tim Kennedy on the bottom gets a good launch with the 15 right on his bumper on the inside. Going to get that second position away from that 73 Sam Drought.
Yeah, they're side by side. It looks like the 15 is definitely going to give the 88 a fight on the outside. We'll see if he gets it on coming out of 2 there.
Yeah, 15 is going to have a good run. He's going to get to the outside of that 88. 15 using that momentum, trying to take the lead away, going from 3rd to 1st on lap 1. 15, Britton on the outside. Tim fights back down low. It's going to wash up just a little, scrub a little bit of that speed. 15 ought to have a good run off again. I believe 15 is going to lead lap 1 from P3 on the starting grid.
Yeah, these guys, if you look, the 15 is definitely going to fight the 88. He's not giving it up. He's not getting in line like a little good soldier boy.
No, the 15 can get just a little bit deeper of a run into that corner as we see the 88 get clear of that 15. 88 sends it down in low, makes it stick. 15's still not giving up, fighting back on that outside with that momentum. He's going to get a run out of 4 here. Watch him dive over. Oh, the 88 goes low to protect that inside. 15 stays up high, gets, again, door-to-door with him.
Yeah, those guys are going to fight hard. Now, I knew the 15 wouldn't just, roll over, but, they're fighting pretty hard. I hope they don't beat up them tires too bad.
Yeah, Auto Club's not real friendly on tires either. As rough and old as this track is, it's gonna scrub some speed out of these over the course of a fuel run tonight. I think the 15's settled into P2, working on maybe cooling them tires, getting another run as we see that draft in effect at this track. 15 sucks right back up to the back bumper of that 88 down the front stretch.
Yeah, if 15 has any hope, would basically just hang on to the back end of the 88 for the entire first stint. Keep it together,
Yeah, that 88, we talk about him often, almost every week. Generally one of the front runners. Got a lot of speed in that car, a lot of consistency behind the wheel. That driver out front. Tim sitting P2 in the standings here in the Gen 4 series. And only 3 points behind our current points leader, Chris Moulton, in the 95.
Speaking of Chris Moulton, I'm going to go back because Chris found himself in a bee's nest back there for a while. They were 2 and 3 wide back here, Matt. So as you see the 21 get ready to take the 55 on the low side.
Yeah, Moulton, your points leader, started P12, made up a couple positions up to P10. So not a great qualifying effort by the 95 group tonight, but that car, that driver, that team, generally pretty good at making the best out of a bad situation. I expect them to work their way up through the field tonight.
Yeah, looking up front a little bit, right behind Gary Kipfer, you got the 84 and the 12 battling out a little bit. As I said, if you look right there with Chris Moulton behind, those guys are fighting. They're fighting all the way through the field. Back up to our race leader.
Yeah, you can see the 15 still holding on tight. Look right behind him, door to door. You see the 73 Sam Drought and the 30 Phil Sarnowski. Door to door, we see Phil down on the inside. He's going to get that position here on the exit. 73 is going to fight back with that run on the high side and that draft down the backstretch. Watch for a crossover. I say that as the 30 goes to protect low. 73 moves back to the outside, going to fight him again back here on entry into 1.
Yeah, it seems like that you can race this car pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, we see the 127 coming off of pit road. Not sure what the reason for pit there was, but 127 started 20th tonight, still 20th. Now will be 1 lap down.
Our first car lap down, but you like to see them rookies out there in this series. It's a tough series, tough car, tough tracks, and he's out there doing the best he can, and I believe this is the first run with us here at KCE for Todd. So welcome aboard, Todd.
Yeah, it's going to be certainly great to have Todd McDuffie on board in that 127. We'll get him some races in, get him a two-digit, and some sponsors on that car.
Yeah, we need to get some sponsors for that boy.
Back out front, Tim started from the pole, still out front with that 15, not losing ground, just kind of lurking back there, waiting.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. Tim's good all the way through. We hope that the 15 can keep this kind of momentum going. And as I see you jump back to Chris Moulton, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, just wanted to jump back. I seen a battle out here on track 95, working down low the 21 Mitch Mitchell in that home and boat rental Florida Keys Chevrolet. Mitch is going to get the run on that high side. They're going to stay door to door down the backstretch. Just out in front of those guys, 57, Joe Brockway fighting the 55 of Shane Bowie and the number 12 of Buzzy Mongol. Got a three-way battle for 7th, what will be 7th position going on right here.
Yeah, I don't look for Buzz to give up any room here as he jumps down in front to kind of, seal off that deal.
Yeah, you can definitely see these guys gain a lot of time on entry on that low side, with the high side carrying that momentum on exit. It's keeping these guys pretty dead even throughout the field.
It looks like Shane Boo's all over the back of the number 12 of Buzz.
Yeah, gets clear of that 57 with that exit momentum and the draft help of the 12 down the backstretch. He's going to get it cleared. It's going to make it difficult for that inside line to complete those passes tonight. If that outside has any draft help at all, they will carry a lot more speed down the backstretch and front stretch.
Yeah, Shane is showing some patience here because we don't give the bumper here at KCE Racing, but I'll bet that's a time when Shane wishes we would.
Yeah, you use the bumper here at KCE, you'll get called to the hauler after the race for sure. We see those guys get it settled out. Number 12 keeps that 7th position. 55 Bowie falls in behind him in 8th, and the 57 of Brockway holds P9, jumping back. As I was talking about him, 21 Mitch Mitchell now looking the inside of Brockway for that 8th position.
You think that maybe the 57 heated up them tires a little bit on that fight, that battle against those two? Maybe
Yeah, definitely could have.
Yeah, bringing it back in, right?
Yeah, 21's looking low. Once again, we see that parity of speed between that high side momentum and the shortest way around the track on the bottom. Okay, I want to jump back up to our lead. A little bit of a gap building now between P1 Tim and P2 Spencer.
Looks like about a 0.7. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, about 7/10 back now. P2 up to P1 as we see Phil Sarnowski getting closer to that rear bumper looking for that 2nd position.
Yeah, Phil's definitely going to pounce if the 15 heated up them tires, so.
Yeah, of course, I'm rooting for Phil. Phil was my pick tonight to take home the checkered flag in that Interstate Battery Chevrolet. And I'm just going to throw this out here in the booth at you, Coco, with nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody listening to us. I'm beating your pick right now.
Actually, nobody listened to us. You are beating me, but I am only 2 cars behind, and my boy is a sleeper.
Oh, I might have forgot. I'm sorry that our broadcast is public. This isn't a private discussion. I just wanted to point out. We see on board with Gary. Speaking of on board, let's actually go on board. Let me jump in the cockpit of this 24 with Gary Kipfer around Auto Club.
He's really laying out of that throttle for a while at this track, huh?
Yeah, these guys might be wearing these tires. Like we said, fuel run tonight is, I believe, going to be around 25, 26 laps. So these guys are already over halfway through the fuel run tire life here in stint 1. So these cars can't be feeling super stable at this point.
Yeah, this track reminds me so much of Michigan, out the windshield even. You know what I mean, Matt? It really does.
Yeah, this and Michigan definitely drive a lot alike. Auto Club's a little bit older of a surface and quite a bit rougher. Even going down the backstretch, these guys are fighting a lot of bumps in the track that can upset that car, especially on entry into 3. Gary started 6th, made up 1 position, currently running 5th since the drop of the green flag in tonight's race. Jump back to a battle on track. 95, Chris Moulton working on Mitch Mitchell for that 9th position.
Yeah, Chris is always, a late runner, but comes up through the field on a constant basis. You always see him top 5, winning races. So I expect to see him moving up through this field, all night long.
Yeah, moving up through the field. We covered it briefly before we jumped on board with Kipfer. We saw the battle for 2nd place. Now we see Phil Sarnowski has completed that pass up to P2. That puts Britton in that 15 back into 3rd. Coco, I'm hearing a little bit of these guys on the radio. They've got about 8 laps, anywhere from 8 to 12 laps before the tank of fuel runs dry on these guys. So as these tires are wearing compared to practice fuel tank these guys had, they might be able to stretch it a little bit longer as much off throttle time as they're getting on these corners. Leaders coming around to complete lap 18 of 80 tonight here at Auto Club. Coco wanted to let our guys know about our other racing nights here at KCE. You want to let the guys know?
Absolutely. So, yeah, guys, we're not only running on Tuesday night in the Gen 4 series. We got the O'Reilly series on Thursday night. And then we also have our truck series on Sunday nights that, bring in great crowds, great racing. So if you're interested in joining up, check out kceracing.com and check us out on iRacing and come on out, put in an application. These guys have fun 3 times a week. It's a real nice, tight-knit group. So, yeah, 2 more series. So we run 3 times a week.
Yeah, as you were getting a plug-in for our other race nights, I jumped on board with Tim Kennedy. We saw Tim working around the 79 Edwin Post for lap traffic. Edwin Post now going to be in that lucky dog position in that 79 Jack Daniels Ford. Coco, I want to run through the field as we're getting ready to complete our first fuel run tonight. Tim Kennedy, your leader, P1. Phil Sarnowski is P2 in that number 30. Position 3, Spencer Britton in that 15. Behind him, we're going to have Sam Trout in 4th. P5 is going to be Brian Glass. P6, Shane Bowie. P7, Gary Kipfer. Chris Moulton in 8th. P9, Joseph Brockway. And Mitch Mitchell in P10. And Coco, I want to hold that thought right now. I'd like to get through the field. I think we have a couple guys that are starting this round at pit cycles. I believe the number 12 of Buzz Mongold's down on pit road.
Yes, he is. And, Buzz is down there early. He does different pitch strategies from most.
Yeah, definitely works to get off cycle. And, there are times where that can work for you. If you're outside the top 10, change your strategy. Do opposite of what the leaders are doing. And if the race breaks work out in your favor, then you could be sitting in a good position.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have it on speed, so you got to have it on strategy.
And tonight's race with the pit and fuel cycles as they are, strategy could definitely play into tonight.
Yeah, I think it will for some. You see Tim out there just running around, putting down some serious laps. He's got a gap of 1.13 right now to second place of Phil Sarnowski.
Just running through a couple of guys. Jim Felix and the number 4 Busch Chevrolet. Haven't talked about Jim tonight.
Now Jim's sporting a new paint job tonight. He's sporting that red-colored Busch car. Really good looking car.
Yeah, Busch Apple.
Yeah, Jim is sitting, in currently 16th. Started in 14th position as you go to Tony Matthews, who is coming down pit road right now.
Yeah, Tony going to be the second car out on track to make his first pit stop of the night in that 89 Can-Am Chevrolet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're all going to start coming in right now, Matt.
Yeah, these guys are going to start coming in here pretty quick. I just jumped to the closest battle I saw out on track. Mitch Mitchell and the 64 of Nick Murphy battling for a position. That would be for 9th and 10th. Looks like Nick Murphy's going to get the better of that battle in the 9th position.
Yeah, we're looking at this battle here. You see a good battle here going on, Matt. They're fighting back and forth.
Yeah, 55 and the 95 have been around each other a couple times tonight. 95 working that high side on those older tires now, coming around to complete lap 25. Coco, I see a couple guys diving down on pit road. I see the 21 of Mitch Mitchell's making his first stop from P11 is where Mitch is going to start this pit cycle. So we'll see if these early pit stops for these guys make up a little bit of ground. The 119 of Donald Bonner, rookie in KCE Racing Series, also making his pit stop. It looks like Atlantic Tilt Road on the quarter panel of that car.
I was going to say that car looks pretty good with that tilt load and that blue and white there.
Yeah, certainly. Jump up to our leader, Tim Kennedy, and P2, Phil Sarnowski, making their pit stop. So those guys trying to stay together, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Phil has to stay with him and do what he's going to do, especially that, if he has the speed to keep up.
Yeah, that's going to put the 15 of Spencer Britton out in the lead. Still yet to make a pit stop, as well as Sam Drought in P2. Coco, why don't you see if you can throw up our pit strategy board? We can get an idea of who out here has yet to make a pit stop.
Yes, sir. Looks like here is our current pit strategy.
Yeah, it looks like first all the way back through P14 have yet to make that pit stop, it looks like. As I say that, I'm looking on our board. Several cars taking the opportunity. Spencer Britton, Sam Drought, Brian Glash, Shane Bowie, and Gary Kipfer all diving down on the pit road.
Yeah, they're coming down. They had to come down sooner or later, and I think coming down as a group is good for them.
Yeah, that'll leave the 95 out on track as your leader. Be interesting to see if the 95 starting deep in the field from 12th now up to P1, if he's trying to stretch this tank of fuel, maybe try to throw a little bit of strategy at these guys late in the race. Looks like he's now diving down on the pit road, so he's going to have a few extra laps of fuel compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, he comes in a little late, but I think is that his kind of MO though, Matt? I mean, he always does have the tire in mind.
Yeah, he certainly does. I wanted to jump back. Sorry, folks, mid-pit cycle. There's a lot of action we're trying to cover. Jumping back out front, position swap what will be for the lead. The number 30 came in, we saw right behind the 88 on that pit strategy, so I'm not sure if the 88 had an issue on pit road or just lost a little bit of time on entry and exit, but the 30 has now cycled around to what will be P1. Nick Murphy holding that spot on pit road. He made his stop, so that will cycle Phil up to the lead now.
Yeah, and what we want to see here is the 30 maintaining a gap, or is the 88 closing up after 5 laps on a quickly.
Yeah, where these guys pitted right together on the same lap, they're going to be on equal tires now, so we'll see if the track position gained by that 30 works out for him, if he can hold that. One note I did want to touch base on, Coco, we saw a very early pit stop, first of this cycle, by Buzz Mungold in that Pink Whitney Vodka Chevrolet. I think that gained him a few spots. As I recall, he was running closer back to 10th when this pit cycle began. He's now up to P5.
Yeah, that did gain him some spots, I think, in the pit lane, but I think what he needs to watch is that he doesn't burn them up before everybody else.
Yeah, as you can see, we're talking about Buzz, the first to make his pit stop in the 95, one of the last to make his stops. We see this battle for position now. 95 on fresher tires, working that inside, and is going to get that pass made on the number 12. That'll put the 95 up to P5.
Yeah, you have Brian the Bull Glass right behind him, and I expect Brian to pounce pretty quickly.
Yeah, if we get an opportunity, let's throw our pit strategy board back up just to get a sense of how spread the field is on this tire strategy. Yeah, looking at that board, we see guys all the way from 20 laps, like we said, Buzz in that number 12, to I see 28 laps from Chris Moulton in P5. So we've got about a 8-lap pit strategy spread just on the first stint here.
Right, and that's the thing, Matt. You don't think it, but 5 to 7 laps on tires is so much different than the other guy. So if you've got 5 additional laps on your tires, you're going to start feeling that, and I think we're seeing that in Buzz.
Yeah, the guy I like right now, and we just talked about him, but looking at our pitch strategy board, the guy I like right now is 95 of Moulton. He's made his way from 12th starting position all the way up to P5, and he did it with the latest pit cycle here on stint 1. So he's going to be in a good position to maintain that track position here coming in stint 2.
The freshest tires on the track right now.
Jump back up to our lead as the 88 has closed that gap to the 30. Both those guys running the bottom 1 and 2. Number 30 definitely kind of arcs that corner a little bit. The 88's got that draft down the back. He's going to see if he's patient here. Looks like he is pretty patient. He's going to let that 30 roll the bottom together.
Yeah, see, I want to see what Tim does with the 30 right here. You know, if Tim kind of just lays behind him, saves his equipment, I think the 30's going to have his hands full at the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these guys are super fast out here tonight. We see the 88 go high, looking for that momentum. He's going to have a run down the backstretch. Not quite there yet. Number 30 is going to pull up right in front of him. It looked like the 88 might have just scraped the wall. I don't think he's got any damage from that, but I thought I saw a few sparks fly.
Well, the way I see it is Tim said, I paid for the whole track. I'm going to use the whole track.
Yeah, and it's just a little scrape. Just trying to use it all, right?
looking for grip no matter where it's at.
Yeah, it's going to settle Tim back just a little bit. Now about a car and a half gap up to the lead. Tim staying on that high side 1 and 2.
Yeah, these guys, I think Tim is trying to figure out what the best strategy is behind a 13. If you watch Tim, he'll check different lines, see what the runs off are, see what the runs in are, things like that. So he's testing that track out right now.
Yeah, he's working both ends as well. The high side on 1 and 2, staying low down here in 3 and 4. We saw Tim lead every lap of the first stint, so we know that car's got a lot of speed in it. And that 30 is holding the low side on both ends of this track. So Tim's just searching right now, trying to find something that works.
Yeah, Matt, this is more of an ask of your opinion, but do you think late in the race it'd be better to be on the high side or a guy on the low side? I'm thinking high side because that runoff really looked good.
Yeah, we saw Moulton make a couple passes late using that high side. A lot of it, I think, always has to do with driver preference and how you take care of that car over the course of that fuel run and those tires. Myself personally, when I'm out on track with these guys, I'm a bottom feeder. I love the bottom. Other guys can make this high side work. So I think to each his own. As it pertains to Auto Club, I think if you're doing it right, the high side can carry a lot of speed.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And I've noticed that, tonight is, here's Tim looking down low, poking his nose through, letting the 30 know, I want that spot. We'll see if the 30 fights it and contests or gives it up.
Yeah, 30 still got that outside quarter. He's going to get the run. That's going to hold Tim down low on the bottom. Door to door as we cross the line. I believe the 88 led that lap. Tim should get clear and should be able to slide up. He does. Tim Kennedy in that 88 711 Ford out in front.
Yeah, this is a good battle here between these two, and they're not going to give up on each other. They're going to keep on the back bumper of each other, try to make each other nervous. Tim gets
we see
loose.
the 88 get loose. I don't believe there was contact there, Coco. I think it was just arrow loose from that 88 from that 30 being right on that rear bumper.
I agree with you, but that was a nail a nail biter.
Yeah, the 88, we see him go up to the middle lane in 1 and 2, probably just trying to gather himself back up, make sure them tires are still underneath that car.
Yeah, we're still racing at 39 laps, completing or getting ready to complete lap 39, going on 40 with no caution flag, Matt.
Yeah, that'll put us pretty close to halfway, and a great opportunity, I think, to pick up where we were at right before pit strategy, going through our field. Tim Kennedy in P1 out front. We just saw the pass for the lead folks. Phil Sarnowski second, only 2/10 behind. Spencer Britton is in third with Sam Drought behind him in fourth. Chris Moulton in that 95 is P5. Brian Glass is in sixth with Mitch Mitchell in the 21 behind him in seventh. Shane Bowie in that Budweiser Chevrolet in P8. P9 is Gary Kipfer in that DuPont Chevrolet, and P10 is Buzz Mongold in that Pink Whitney Vodka Chevrolet. Coco, you want to grab 11th?
Yeah, we have the number 64, Nick Murphy in 11th position. In position 12, we have Joseph Brockway, which just takes 11th from Buzz. Looks like Buzz went into the pits. That will take us to Sean Kaiser in 12th. We have Daniel Bonner in 13th. The 119, Donald Bonner in 14th position. Buzz is still showing at 15th, but Tony Matthews will take that over in 15th position. Jim Felix in 16th position. Shane Fletcher in 17th position. And Edwin Post in 18th position at this time, followed up by Todd McDuffie in the 127 in the 20th position. That rounds out our field tonight.
Yeah, certainly does. I wanted to jump back up here, Coco, to the 42. Still one of my favorite sponsors and paint schemes out on track. I love that blockbuster video of Daniel Bonner running 13th in that Ford right now.
It's a good-looking car as he gets that ass end loose there for a moment.
Yeah, we see Donald Bonner, rookie 119, in that tilt load Chevrolet running right behind him in 14th. Wanted to look at closest battles out on track right now. Looks like the 95 and the 73 is our closest right now.
Yeah, these tires are getting a bit worn. You figure they come in on what, 25, around 25 laps. So these guys are looking at 20 laps on their tires, right?
Yeah, 20. We saw Moulton was your last to pit at lap 28. So we're shortly approaching the next round of pit stops. And matter of fact, we saw Buzz Mongold make his second stop already. That's going to put Buzz back in P18. Currently still on the lead lap, I believe. No, I can't tell, Coco. Saw Edwin Post making his pit stop in that 79 down on pit road. Tim Kennedy completing lap 44 of 80 tonight. Your lead out front by 1.1 over Phil Sarnowski.
Yeah, these guys, and I am going to bring up the track map, Matt, because these guys are spread out. There's races and battles going on all around the track here.
Yeah, as expected with 45, 44 getting ready to be 45 laps of green flag racing tonight. That's going to spread these guys out quite a bit. We'll see if we get a caution at some point in this race to tighten the field back up.
Yeah, you look at the interval between our first place driver who just crossed our finish line to, Sam. You're talking, half a track.
Yeah, I wanted to point out the 127 of Todd McDuffie, rookie here at KCE, making his second pit stop tonight. On board with the 15 working lap traffic number 4 in that bush apple of Jim Felix. Looks like the 15's going to get the run on the high side, get clear of that lapper. So these guys going to be working a few issues with lap traffic tonight.
Yeah, Matt, you have 2 in there now.
See, the 95 will be the next to work around that number 4 of Jim Felix. Jump down, I saw Tony Matthews down on pit road in that Under Armour Can-Am Chevrolet making his second pit stop of the night. Guy we haven't talked too much about tonight, Shane Fletcher in that Waffle House Chevrolet.
Yeah, I always like that Waffle House paint job, and Shane's just out there right now. He's currently 15th, started 18th. He's got himself 3 positions for 3 points.
Yeah, up 3 spots from where he started. Our hard charger of the night so far, we're split tied between the 95 of Chris Moulton up 8 spots, currently 4th from 12th at the drop of the green flag, and Shane Bowie in that 55 Budweiser Chevrolet up 8 spots tonight as well.
And isn't it funny? They're right beside each other, it looks like.
Yeah, a couple spots. Moulton running 4th and Bowie running 8th, so only a couple cars in between them.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Both of our hard chargers are sitting there, you know, somewhat like semi-close.
See the 119 of Donald Bonner making his pit stop, second pit of the night.
Noticing he's on the left-hand side of that pit lane.
Coco jumping back out on front right before we go into our second round of pit stops for the majority of the field. We see that gap opening up between P1 and P2 now, 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, we're getting ready for what we'll call pit stop mayhem here at California Speedway.
Yeah, and Coco, what I'm seeing out on track, looking and kind of watching as this race goes on, we've got a few guys that made their second pit stop already, and that's going to put a lot of those guys short on fuel to the end of this race. Now, most of the guys still out on track, I believe, are going to be able to stretch this far enough that they can make it on just this second round of pit stops.
Yeah, depending, I mean, like Chris, but are we...
I mean, we saw these guys go anywhere from, the majority of the field went 25 to 28 laps tonight. With 30 laps to go, if these guys can stretch it another 3 or 4 laps, they should be able to make it on just one more pit stop.
Yeah, I was doing math in my head and almost lost my head almost exploded, Matt.
Believe you me, I understand. Math and the booth, math and the guys in the booth just don't mix.
Hey,
We've talked before, folks, we need a stat guy up here. So if anybody's looking for a job up in the booth and is good with numbers, you'd be doing Coco and I a favor.
Exactly.
We're doing the best we can up here, folks. Tim Kennedy, your leader out front now, 2.5 seconds. That gap is rapidly growing back to P2. Tim making those tires last. The number 30, them tires might be falling off quicker than he wants them to.
Yeah, Tim is just, you know, in his groove right now. Tim is always a late racer. Late in the race, just kind of gets in a groove, gets in his rhythm, and that's when you start seeing the gap increase.
Yeah, we've got 13 drivers on the lead lap. Bonner in the 42, the last of those on the lead lap. That'll put Shane Fletcher in the 34, currently in that lucky dog position if we get a caution. Looking pit stops, I believe, are now starting for these guys that will stretch it to the end. It looks like Brockway in the 57, the first to dive in, And as I switched over, I saw your leader, Tim Kennedy, now on pit road. The 30, Phil Sarnowski, going to follow. So it looks like the first 4 guys out on track are going to take advantage of this pit stop.
And there we have Gary Kipfer in the 8th position. Started 6th, so now he's currently 6th with the pit stops going on as he looks underneath the 4 of Jim Felix.
Yeah, did you have me lap down? I saw the 42 Daniel Bonner dive down on the pit road along with the 64 of Nick Murphy.
Nick Murphy getting his tires.
That will cycle Moulton around to the lead. And we saw Spencer Britton and the 34 of Fletcher make their final pit stop of the night. 26 laps to go tonight here at KCE Racing.
.30 comes on track and blends in with the 95. I wouldn't expect the 95 to fight him too hard, but we'll see.
Yeah, 30 on those fresh tires. He's going to maintain his spot on the lead lap. That's the leader there behind him, the 95 Chris Moulton. We see woeing that car down to make that final pit stop. 73 of Sam Drought will follow in behind him, make his final stop of the night. That should cycle the 88 of Tim Kennedy back around to the lead as those first 2 are on pit road.
And I see a 3.2 gap between Tim and Phil currently, so that's where they end up after their pit stops.
Yeah, pretty well dead even. I believe they came in with about a 2.9 second gap. So the 30 lost just a little bit of time somewhere in that pit cycle, but not too much. We'll see. We saw the 30 have a lot of speed early in stint number 2, so we'll see if the 30 Phil Sarnowski can close that gap on Tim and try to fight for the win tonight.
Yeah, I just put up the pit strategy pit stop time. You're looking at a 14.6 to a 14.8 with Tim and Phil.
Yeah, that's going to translate exactly to what we saw out on track before the pits started, about a 2.9 second gap, and lost about 0.2 to your leader in that cycle.
So you can see the numbers don't lie, boys and girls.
Yeah, Coco, if you can, throw that back up just 1 second. I wanted to point out something that caught my eye. The number 12 of Buzz Mongold on that 3-stop strategy is in P8. We will see how that shakes out for him, where he's going to have another round of pits still to make.
Yeah, and if you look, his pit stops did get better. He had 15 seconds on the first, 14.5, a half second on that second stop.
Leader coming around, 23 laps to go at Auto Club with a almost 3.5 second lead back to P2. Spencer Britton on the podium right now in P3 with Sam Drought behind him in 4th and Moulton rounding out your top 5 in that 95 Chevrolet. Excuse me, 4th.
4th, yeah, that's where we all shake out, huh?
Yeah, these guys might yell at me in the booth because I will do that from time to time, being a Chevrolet driver when I'm out on track with these guys. I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah, I'm not so biased when I'm out on track, but I do recognize the Chevy when I see it. Maybe I'm a little more respectful.
This, folks, is one of the closest battles we have out on track. The 95 trying to catch up to the 73 there, Sam Drought, for that 4th position.
Chris Moulton is definitely looking underneath that 73 right now, and they are different tire sets, correct?
Well, I don't believe so, Coco. I believe the 95 and the 73 we saw come down pit road together for their final stop. So I believe these guys are on equal tires. The 95 just looks to have just a little bit more speed in that car. as we see him complete that pass on the low side. 73 fighting back with the momentum's going to get back to the door across the start finish, looking into turn 1. 95 should get the dive down, make that track as short as possible. See if he can complete that slide job. He's not going to. 73 is going to keep that outside.
73 gets a real nice run off, so the 95 has to tuck in behind him.
Yeah, that bottom line is going to be a difficult pass. You've got to have the speed in that car to make it happen.
We talked about this earlier, but, you know, it doesn't tell me what my late run is, but it seems like on the earlier run that the high line definitely will prevail.
Yeah, it appears so, until these tires start to wear a little bit.
Yep.
Point out Chris Moulton, your current points leader going into tonight's race.
I'm not sure what's happening up front there. I'm going to switch this up for us, Matt. We're going to go back up to Tim Kennedy, and still sitting at a 3.2 or 3.7 to Phil. Just wanted to see how that gap was looking.
Yeah, the 88 stretching that gap out just a little bit. We saw coming out of the pits for their final stop about a 3.2 second advantage for Tim in that P1 position. That gap now about 3.7 as we're looking at 19 laps to go.
And 19 laps to go, you got almost a full straightaway from Phil to Tim, and that's hard to make up. So best thing you can hope for is a caution.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple things to look out for. You see out the windshield there, the 88's going to have a couple guys to get around before the end of the race. So lap traffic could slow that 88's progress just a little bit if there's any kind of aero disadvantage that the 88's trying to fight. The other thing is, as always here at KCE Racing, anything can happen at any point. The 88 could make a mistake in that racing rig, or we could have a caution out on track that could stack this field back up. So the race is not over by any means.
Yeah, you look at his windshield as he's trying to get past that 42 right now, going to take him a lap down.
Yeah, that would leave the 42 in that free pass position. I just saw on the board him go a lap down. So the 42 in that free pass position, that'll put the number 2 of Sean Kaiser, the last car on the lead lap.
I just jumped on board of Tony Matthews, just came out of the pits with some fresh tires.
Yeah, it appears the 89's having a little bit of trouble tonight. Started 4th, falling all the way back to 18th. And I believe the 89 is on the 3-pit strategy.
So him and Buzz on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I believe so. The 89 and the 12.
The smoothness and the speed out of the 88 just sometimes amazes me, Matt.
Definitely Mr. Consistent out there on track. I was just studying our leaderboard notes up here, Coco, and you know the 88 and the 30. Looking at a best lap time tonight, 40.22 to a 40.27. So pretty similar best lap speeds out of your top 2. Leaders last lap, 41.01 to a 40.95 for Phil. So close that gap just a little bit. We see down to 3.5, 3.6.
Yeah, we're looking at the 89 trying to get in front or around the 79, which I think is going to actually be Tim looking around him too. So we'll see how this plays out.
I'm trying to get into these numbers. We told the folks listening and watching that we're not numbers guys, so now I'm studying them, and cool number just jumped out at me. Number 12, Buzz Mongold, with the top speed of 210 miles an hour into the corner tonight.
212 miles. The boy's definitely pushing hard tonight.
Sailed it off into turn 1, I believe.
at some point, huh?
Jump back out. See that gap maintained in 3.5, 3.6 between your top two, Kennedy and Sarnowski. Britton's still in P3, Sam Drought in fourth with Moulton in fifth. Jumping back to that battle. 95 now looking on the outside, trying to use that momentum to get around Sam for that fourth position. We see Mitch Mitchell creeping up in the frame, trying to get in this battle.
Well, 73 looks like he takes that top line and will. That's what he likes. We know that. Oh, he brushes the wall just a bit.
Go. It's cool watching these guys battle 3 cars for that one position. I saw on entry there, all 3 of those guys took a different lane, trying to keep clean air on the front of that car. We saw the 73 go middle. 95 goes a lane up at him. We see the 21 about a half a lane up at him. So I believe aero is definitely playing a factor for these guys tonight.
Yeah, if they get too tight, man, they'll push that front end right up to the wall. So, you want to keep it pushed down. So maybe making passes. We saw that if you get on the back bumper of somebody, you can get them loose. So that might play a role.
Yeah, you certainly can in these Gen 4 cars. If you can tuck that bumper right up to that car in front of you on entry, you can pack the air on them and force a loose condition.
Somebody we haven't talked about is Brian the Bull Glass, but I think he's going to be part of this trio in a little bit.
Yeah, I believe that 95 is a little bit faster than that 73. So you can see now the 21 and the 84, like you mentioned, the Kroger Kodak Chevrolet catching these guys. It's going to get them fighting probably 4 wide here at Auto Club for that 4th position.
Sorry, Matt, I just jumped up to the 95. I did see him get beside the 73, and he took the 73's line. 73 does like that high line. Let's see if he can make it work.
Yeah, 95 going to get the run. I believe he is there. That's going to hold the 73 on the bottom into 3 and 4 here. 95, if he can carry that momentum out of 4, should take this position.
Yeah, that was a nice drag race down the back straightaway. And the 21 is looking in between, going, if you guys want to play around, I'm going to jump all over you.
Yeah, the 21 and the 84 are loving this battle because it's sucking them right up to these guys running side by side. 10 laps to go tonight.
Ooh, there we go. This race is just clicking off for us tonight, Matt.
Yeah, it's going by pretty quick. Tim Kennedy still out front as we're watching this battle for what will be 4th position. 3-way battle for 4th, 95, 73, and the 21. So we see the 95 get that pass done. It's going to move him up to that 4th position. The 21 now looking high, trying to get a run on that 73.
Yeah, 73's not giving up, though. 73's still pushing that car really, to its limits. 21's looking low on him right now, but he's got his focus out that windshield, it looks like, at that 95.
Yeah, I believe we saw that 95 on that bumper, that 73, for quite a while. So I believe the 95 has that speed. As long as he didn't heat them tires up too much, he should drive away from these guys. The battle now, I believe, is for that final position in the top 5 between the 73 and 21 of Mitch Mitchell.
Matt, the question comes to mind: if they stay, nose to tail, if they don't battle, could they grab the 95? Not sure.
You certainly could, using the draft to your advantage. If the 21 can give the 73 a little push, that might help them both out to try to get back up to that 95. But I believe what I'm seeing on track right now, the 21 looking low for that clean air, I believe the 21 is thinking about only one guy right now, the 21. He wants to get up and put that car in the top 5 for tonight's race.
Yeah, as these guys diving into the corner, you can see they each have a preferred line, right? They each have a preferred way of getting around this track. As he goes underneath the 21, underneath the 73 with that run off.
Yeah, one thing I'm not seeing a lot from these guys is trying to take advantage of any kind of side drafting. They're staying pretty respectful, giving each other a lot of room down these straights. 21 is there. He can complete this with a little slide job. Looks like he will. 21's going to take that final spot in the top 5. That'll put 73 outside and 6 crossover. 73 fights back, got the low side, gets that completed. 21 might got a little tight on exit as we see the 84 dive low. What a battle.
And you know what? I mean, that was a classic crossover move, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the 73 is just driven away. 21 trying to rebuild that momentum. And these Gen 4 cars, if you lose it a little bit, it'll take you about a lap to rebuild all that speed in that car.
And we're sitting here at 6 laps to go watching this battle here. Going back up just real quick as these guys are spread out. There's no real action. We're going to look at our leader right now, who just appears to have passed the number 2 of Sean Kaiser. Putting Sean some more laps down there. 1 lap down.
Yeah, that'll put Sean in the lucky dog position with Brockway in the 57 as the last car on the lead lap in P11. Tim started on the pole, still leading with 5 to go. We see that gap is built to 4.3 now, back to P2. So P2 on back, going to be looking for a caution to have a chance tonight.
Tim looking below the 4 right there, taking another lap car into consideration.
Looks like these guys battling for that top 5 have kind of got that figured out. Moulton 4th, Drought 5th, Brian Glass 6th, and Mitch Mitchell now P7, all kind of single filed out for the moment. Tim Kennedy, your race leader, coming around looking 3 to go here at KCE Racing.
Yeah, you think the 21 might have burned him up a little bit, fighting those guys off, and just put himself back a little. 3 laps to go. Tim's just smooth as silk going around this track tonight.
Yeah, looking at the lap times, Tim's last lap 41.31 to a 41.39 of P2 Phil Sarnowski. So that gap ever increasing. Fastest car out on track right now appears to be Chris Moulton, 41.27 in 4th. But 12, almost 13 seconds back, does not have enough time to catch your leader.
No, this time, unless there's a caution or Tim does something catastrophic, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, Tim, your winner last week in the Gen 4 series, looking to go back-to-back, and only 3 points back to start the night from Chris Moulton sitting in 4th. That's a 3-point spread. Tim Kennedy, if he can bring home that checkered, should take over the points lead here in the Gen 4 series tonight.
Yeah, as he enters turn 3, coming out of turn 4 there, getting ready to take that white flag.
Bernie, the flag man, is going to be waving. White flag, 1 to go at Auto Club Speedway.
One more time around here, and Tim will bring this one home. We've got Tim Kennedy currently 5.17 in front of position number 2 of Phil Zanowski. As Tim comes out of turn 4, looking for that checkered flag, is Bernie the flag man, is waving it strong. Tim comes down the front straight for one last time, crosses the start-finish line. Your race winner, Tim Kennedy, number 88. Second place, Phil Sarnowski crossing the line. Third place is Spencer Britton crossing the line. 95, Chris Moulton in 4th. Sam Drought in 5th. Brian Glass, Shane Bowie, and Mitch Mitchell crossing the line, doing 6, 7, and 8. Nick Murphy crossed the line at 9. Gary Kipfer in 10th. That rounds out your top 10 finishers tonight.
What a race these guys put on, Coco. Had a lot of battles side by side, door to door with these guys. Caution free tonight here at KCE Racing, which goes to speak to how clean and competitive this field is with each other.
Yeah, these guys race hard, very competitive, and but they're very respectful of one another. As we see Tim getting ready to show us his famous burnouts. Sometimes Tim blesses us with the graphic in his burnouts. We haven't seen it in a while, but maybe we can get him to do one for us someday. Tim having a great time. I think we're gonna get ready to bring in our top 3 and have our interviews, Matt.
Yeah, Coco, let's go to our third place finisher tonight, Spencer Britton in that Pepsi Chevrolet.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Spencer, great race tonight, man. Started third, brought it home third. Tell us about it, man. How was the car tonight, and how was the competition?
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful tonight, honestly. Kind of got out there. I was right up there with Tim to start, and then kind of faded back and kind of got in a nice little pocket. I was a little bit ahead of the guys behind me, a little bit behind the guys ahead of me. Not a lot of pressure, so I was just hitting my marks. Really didn't like the setup. It was way too tight in the center, but it is what it is, and we got a third, so can't complain.
Yeah, certainly a great finish for that 15 Pepsi Chevrolet. Congratulations on your race tonight, man. Coco, you got anything for Spencer?
Yeah, sure. We'll thank Pepsi for putting us out here. We always can't thank them enough. And hello to my wife. Hope she's having a great night at work tonight. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go try to hit Tim.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay? It felt good. I was surprised it was under control pretty well, but boy, the lack of talent just really shone through. Tim smoked. I swear he's a puppet master or something. He got me all excited thinking that I had a chance against him in that second run, and then he just pulled right away. I'm out there just like a blind squirrel trying to find a nut to go fast there, and he's just smoking me.
Yeah, Phil, you got Matt up here in the booth. Watching you tonight, you were my pick to win tonight, but unfortunately you didn't quite get there. P2, good position. You did beat Coco's pick, the 24 of Kipfer, so appreciate you getting a win for me up here in the booth tonight. But no, I wanted to touch base on that second round of pit stops. You and Phil came in right together, and it looked like you got the advantage coming out of the pits and actually held that position P1 for just a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I had a chance. I was trying to run it smooth too, not to burn up tires too bad at the beginning of that run, but Tim just pulled right away. I mean, right in that middle of the run, he found another gear or something. So sorry to let you down, but I think you win enough.
Hey, you didn't let me down. Like I said, this is a battle between Coco and me up here in the booth. And if anybody asks, and if he asks, yeah, I'm currently winning. My picks are better than his, so everybody knows. But
There you go.
congratulations on a P2 position finish tonight, man. Excellent race. Started fifth, so gained 3 spots. Congratulations, and we will see you on track next week, man.
Appreciate it.
That was Phil Sarnowski in the number 30 Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Let's see if we can grab our race winner, Tim Kennedy, in the 88. Tim, you got Matt and Coco up in the booth. You got me.
I got you guys.
Tim, another win back to back for you. 2 weeks in a row. Win tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Congratulations, man. How was the car out there and the competition tonight?
Thank you. Yeah, the car was I don't know. It was a bit weird. Struggling for front end grip. It's really kind of hard to get the front to bite on entry and mid corner. Um, and my first thought going into the race session was, man, this track doesn't feel like it did in practice. And then I looked up at the track temp and it was like 20 degrees hotter. So kind of explained a lot. But yeah, the track got a little tight. Hard to turn with the track temp going up, but then also a lot easier to spin the rears coming off the corner. So it was a little tricky.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on a deal we saw out on track. We saw after the pit cycle, looked like the 30 came in the pits behind you and cycled around to the lead. Did that pass happen on pit road, or did the 30 get you on exit of pit there?
Yeah, so my crew chief and I are going to have a little bit of words after this interview here. Um, he must have been busy eating ice cream or something. He forgot to call me into the pits, countdown me into the pits, and I just ended up sliding him through. So yeah, I lost about a second or two backing it up and getting it ready for the guys to service.
Obviously, the crew chief's fault there. Completely understand. Wanted to throw one other thing out there at you during the battle between you and the 30 tonight, which was excellent to see out on track, by the way. We saw you make that pass to take back over that first position, and the 30 was able to stay right on your rear bumper going into one, and it looked like that upset your car a little bit. Got the ass end to kick out just a little bit.
Yeah, we did have contact there. I think it was in 3 and 4. Not sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, uh, I take it easy on corner entry and prioritize exit speed. So yeah, I think I was just a little bit slower than he anticipated mid corner, and we just touched a little bit. No harm, no foul.
I got you. Yeah, we couldn't tell up in the booth. It didn't look like there was much contact, if there was any, but definitely looked like it upset your car, whether it was aero or contact. But either way, you kept control of that car, got it gathered up, and brought it home for the checkered flag. So congrats, man, on your back-to-back win. And we were talking during the broadcast. I believe that's going to put you as our new points leader in the Gen 4 series. Congratulations, man.
Nice, thank you.
That was Tim Kennedy, your winner tonight at Auto Club Speedway in that 88 711 Ford Taurus. Congratulations to Tim. Okay, well, that is it for us tonight here at KCE Racing. Excellent race by everybody in the field tonight. 20 cars out on track. Appreciate everybody coming out and racing. Appreciate all you guys watching at home. Coco, I understand we're having a little bit of tech audio issues, but let's see if we've got you.
Yeah, okay, Matt. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming on out and just, see how things are going and see this race. These guys put on a hell of a show tonight. I think they did a great job, and this is the kind of racing we have here at KCE Racing. So thanks for coming out and watching. Thanks for, all you do, guys. And come on back next Tuesday to see Matt and Coco in the booth. I'll just say good night, sweet dreams, and God bless.